Salutations and welcome to the Manabar video game podcast. I'm your host, Andy Rhodes, and I'm joined here with Matt Samarco.
Hey, what's going on?
Dan Party.
Hey.
And Pikachu. How y'all doing today, boys?
I'm doing pretty great.
Doing all right.
Just all right?
Just all right.
Not great.
Not great.
Why?
Because I'm here with you. It's just not right.
Get out.
Ouch.
Well, I like Matt.
That's
No,
true.
You don't. You were just,
I am
just
good
about
company.
to fight him.
I don't know
like
what you're talking
moments
about.
ago.
There was no proof of that.
That's right. It's episode 15. I feel like that's like a benchmark episode. No. For the first 50 episodes, it's like every 5 episodes is a benchmark, and then after that, it's like every 25, and then once we get to 100, it's only every like 50 or 100. So this is our 15th anniversary.
Do we have hats?
the
What are we
podcast.
supposed to do now?
I don't know, just
I was unprepared.
golf clap. Just everybody gets a round of applause. We lasted this long.
We did.
Well, I mean, we can go as long as we want. Right now, it's just,
I mean,
you know.
I was not necessarily of the opinion it was going to last more than a few weeks.
Really?
I was a bit worried. I did
You're
not.
part of the podcast.
Oh, I know. And I'm not just talking about you two. I'm talking about myself as well. I'm throwing myself out there as a possible issue that we could have run into in the podcast. So don't make me think that that's a slight on the two of you.
We're going to be doing this until 2 of us are dead. No, 3 of us. We're going to keep
If
doing
I die, you guys can't do anything.
it. Yeah?
That's not true. We can hire someone.
I've taught you a few times how to like try to record the audio. Neither of you know what I do on the.
You just push buttons. I see you. It's just buttons.
Is that all I do?
That's all you do.
That's
is
all
push
I do.
buttons.
What about the graphics? What about the
That's just
audio
pushing.
production?
You're just putting buttons.
Okay. I'd like to see you try to figure anything out.
You
Do you even know what opacity is?
It sounds like an audio recording studio.
Opacity is how much you see through an item in Photoshop.
Oh,
has
opacity.
nothing-
Yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah, I got you now that you've explained it. Anyways, great show today. Gonna talk a bit about. I actually have a lot of stuff written down that we can talk about today.
Woo!
I assume you guys didn't really have anything to talk about
I bring nothing to the table.
again.
That's what I do.
Okay, that's fine.
Got one thing to talk about, but I think we all know what happened, but we'll talk about it.
One thing that has to do with you, or
No,
one thing in
the group.
general.
It happened to the group.
It happened to the group.
It happened to the group.
This is the
Do you want me to
weirdest
talk about it
podcast
now?
we've done yet. Let's talk about video games.
Want me to talk about it now, or do you have something you want to start?
What happened to the group? I'm concerned.
Did you see on Twitter who replied to our
Oh, that yeah. There's that
twice?
too.
But not only was it the game, was it the?
We can talk about that.
Okay, we'll
go
talk
into
about
it.
that. All right.
Probably when you start talking about what you've been playing, because it correlates.
It does. It
Directly.
does. It very much does.
Matt, do you care to tell everybody what today's date is?
Today is August 1st?
Yep.
No.
Yo,
Yes.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, I
Obviously.
forgot the date.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying the date anymore because I kept screwing it up. Anyways, let's start off quick and easy talking about what we've been playing. So Mario Maker 2,
You've been playing that?
I already got rid of it.
Wow.
Would you take it out back? murdered
I
it?
old yellered
Oh my
the
god.
situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you were having a good time.
That was
with
that lone gunshot.
I was having
heard
a
in
time.
the yard.
I didn't describe it with an adjective. It was just a time until I realized that I wasn't enjoying it. So here's the thing. Mario Maker 2, in theory, was the perfect game for me.
Yeah, you
because
like building stuff.
I like building stuff. I'm very creative. And I thought about this long and hard today, actually, because it was one of those things where I couldn't really explain why it wasn't grabbing towards me. And then I thought of 2 specific other games where that kind of thing was the thing I liked about the game. One of them was Minecraft. I got on Minecraft back in its alpha stage before it blew up into like the tween sensation it is now. And in the game, the whole point is actually to survive the night against like whatever, pigs or zombies or whatever's attacking you.
Squares.
I just used it as a Lego building machine. I just built things. My friends and I had a server where I it was procedurally generated. So I found this mountain, carved it out, built a fortress inside, put Optimus Prime's head on the outside of it. Like I liked doing that stuff with it. And then in Fallout 4, the point of the game is to, do the story, role play, keep your settlements surviving. I, like a lot of other people, also used it as a way to just like build some like weird random stuff going on in my settlements. Like I built like an Iron Man, mausoleum of all of my like power armor suits and things like that. So when it came to Mario Maker 2, it was a bit of a different story. I was limited in the fact that it was, platform 2D. And I wasn't necessarily building something cool. I was building a level. I wasn't like building
Levels are fun. They're cool.
Levels can be fun, but it wasn't fun for me to build because I wasn't building something that I could like go around and show off. I was building something that either I had to play through or someone else had to play through, and it turns out that that's just not for me. As much as it probably should be, I felt with Minecraft and Fallout 4, there was so many options, so many variables. I felt like it was very expansive, and that's not a slight on Mario Maker 2, but
I mean, you don't really do stuff when you build something in Minecraft. It's not like you're like, I mean, why are you building it then?
it's just fun to build things, but build things from my imagination, not necessarily like, I know
Well, maybe it's the 2D that's killing it for you.
it could be the 2D, and I know I've seen some people do some neat stuff with it, like that Zelda one we saw someone do where it wasn't like Zelda music or anything like that, but you had to like go and get the 5 keys like they were the 5 shrines. Like stuff like that is cool, but it just wasn't fun for me. I wasn't enjoying myself. So, I decided, what? Dan's been telling me such good things about A Plague's Tale. I'll trade it in, they'll send me that. And that was the end of the story.
Cool beans. Yeah, I couldn't really get into it either, but that's just because I need an objective or a goal. Like,
Yeah.
I can't get into Sims, Minecraft, and none of that stuff really did anything for me.
I need an objective.
Because like I'll just be like, all right, I'll be playing The Sims, and all of my guys will just be like hungry, and then they'll be like, they'll have to pee or something. Like I can't keep all the bars at the maximum, and then there's no end. There's no like I beat
End
life.
goal, yeah.
It's like a sad simile of what life is, just like
I don't need
struggling to survive
Red Dead Redemption
with no goal.
Red Dead Redemption and The Sims have something in common. I want to play neither because I don't want to experience real life in a game.
Red Dead is. Like I said,
I'll
at least
put
you
it
can
back.
push for the story, but
I'll put it back in
it's
eventually.
long.
Aside from that, I did record a new episode of A Link Between Zeldas. I made it. I did it 2 weeks in a row. It happened.
It's a pattern now.
You guys said I wouldn't be able to do it.
I didn't say
Y'all
anything.
laughed at me,
I did not see that.
and I made it happen. So that's out now.
He has invisible
published
chip on his
yesterday.
shoulder.
It's a Pringle. So yeah, I put that out last night. Aside from trading in Mario Maker 2, the only other thing I've really been playing this week was, aside from Apex, was Soma. And I've been live streaming that or doing a let's play of Soma so far. I'm about 2 hours into it, and it's I feel like every hour it changes into a drastically different game. Like it keeps me wondering what's going to happen next, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Good.
So
I was hoping you would. I've been watching him play, and it was kind of funny.
yeah, I've never done a let's play before, so that's a new experience for me. I don't know if people are enjoying it or not.
Who cares about if they enjoy it or not?
That's true. Screw you guys
right.
who may or may not
Screw you
have my
guys,
video.
I'm going home.
But please listen, please like, and please subscribe. Thank you. Matt, what are you playing?
I played a lot this week. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I finished up Parasite Eve, which was just as fun as I remembered. Like, cool, interesting. I mean, the story's crazy in that game. There's like mitochondria in your body, and the mitochondria are evolving faster than humans, so they take over this one person's body, and then you have to kill her. And then there's monsters everywhere because of the mitochondria breaking out and taking over people.
This is Deadly Premonition.
No, it is not. It is Parasite Eve.
I've been calling it Deadly Premonition all week accidentally.
Yeah, so I talked about this last week, and then so I actually started and completed Parasite Eve 2 just after that because I was so like, I want to play all these because there's 2 PlayStation games and then there's a PSP game that came out too. So the 2-1 kind of loses some of the magic. It's still the same character, Aya Bray. They never say your name because it's like all just text. There's no voice actors in it. And it's fun, but
They never say the name in the text either?
No, they say the name in the text. It's like Aya Bray. They just don't pronounce it, so I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it.
Oh, okay.
So the second one's a little bit more like action based, and the story's as convoluted as the story is in the first one. The second one makes even less sense. Like I can't even start to talk about what it is because I don't think really a lot happens. It's more of just an excuse to go to different places and shoot guys and kind of do the stuff you were doing in the first game. But yeah, also the leveling is completely different in this one. So instead of gaining experience like you do in most RPGs, you still gain experience, but you don't level up at all. You use this experience to buy spells, which is weird. So you have like 8 spells to choose from.
It didn't even really look like a game that would have spells.
She has spells. She has like healing, and like she'll have like a flame attack spell, and there's one that takes away status effects. And there's 8 of them to start with, and you can unlock 4 additional ones, and you can level them up to like 3 levels too. So it's kind of like I've never felt like I was getting really stronger, because even though I was getting these spells, none of them are super powerful, and you only have so much like basically MP magic power that you can only really use it for healing, and every once in a while if you need to use it for attacking, like is like a last case scenario.
So like mana.
Yeah, like mana at a mana bar. So yeah, it was fun. It just didn't feel like the leveling was rewarding. So I was playing a lot at the beginning, like trying to fight every guy, and then I was like, all right, I have all the spells I need. I'm literally not gaining anything from fighting any of these guys. So also the puzzles in that game are super convoluted and crazy. Like, I tried to do one for like an hour or two, and then I just gave up and looked it up online. You're in a hotel, and there's a register that you have to open, and I'm not sure how you're supposed to realize this is what you're supposed to do, but there's different paintings in each of the hotel rooms, and then there's a painting in the lobby that has 2 people in it, and you have to enter the year of when how old they were when they died as the code, and so you would know that by looking at the paintings in each of the rooms, and then the room in the lobby has them standing next to each other, so that's how you're supposed to determine the order of it. And it's just completely crazy. Like, so that it just says like, here's a picture of 1881. So you have to kind of deduce what it's crazy. I couldn't figure it out.
Did you look that up?
Yes, and it didn't make any sense to me.
I wonder if I would have been able to figure it out.
It's like one of those like Silent Hill like on difficult challenges. Some of
those were crazy.
Some of those were ridiculous. Like you found a piece of hair in a drain. You're like, what the hell are you supposed to do with this?
Wait, the game actually changed what items you found depending on the difficulty?
No, it made it. You had to go through
puzzles
like
were definitely harder.
Yeah, they were harder. They would give you.
Remember that they had that zodiac puzzle, and there were some that were like how many feet are on the zodiac pieces, but they don't mention that at all in the game. So it's just like you're just supposed to know that they're talking about how many feet are on like a horse or whatever the friggin' zodiac is.
And on top of that, you get some weird crap in the game. Like
I gotta play these games.
Silent Hill 2. Well, Silent Hill 2, if you have an Xbox, I have I have the Silent Hill 2 and 3 remake for Xbox 360.
I do have an Xbox 360.
That is fantastic.
So and then I started playing the third Parasite Eve on the PSP, which I only played like 20 minutes.
Third party? Or
third
it has an all red cover or something, if I recall.
You charged your PSP for so long, too.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to even play it anymore, because it was super dull. The gameplay was dull. There was really no story to really be spoken of at that point in the game. Maybe it gets better. Maybe I'll try it out. I also completed Resident Evil 7 in VR. I had played that a long time ago, and I had just gotten VR, last year, so I wanted to try it again. So I rebought it, and it was a lot of fun. It was like a completely different experience. It was like kind of super scary, especially the jump scares, which are sort of cheap, but like every time it would happen, I would like yell like Jesus fucking Christ, and then like lift off my helmet, and that was kind of my like go-to routine for anytime anything jumped up at me. Like it was just like startling, and I just needed like a second to breathe and recover myself.
What was this?
Resident Evil 7 on PSVR.
Oh, yes. So, yes.
Did you ever play it?
Pretty intense. What are you shaking your head?
Dan was too busy on his Twitter. No, I couldn't even listen to the game title.
I was. Sorry, I missed that last one. The other ones he was talking about Parasite Eve 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
I was listening.
One thing I was surprised was the aiming actually felt a lot better, because you would think on VR it would be hard to aim. But you're using the DualShock control in this game, and you can tilt your head to do like a little fine tuning, so it kind of acts like almost a mouse. So I actually felt like I was aiming better than I would if I was just playing regularly, because like I can get that fine last second by pushing my head up or down just a little bit.
So you played this
get
too,
a lot of headshots.
Right?
Yes, I did both.
So here's a question for both of you then, because I haven't actually. I mean, do you own it, or do you just GameFly it?
I own it because it was pretty cheap.
I might try it at some point. Sure. But so here's the thing I was always curious about with taking a game that was previously just on consoles and bringing it to VR. So you have the dual joysticks. Are you still using one to look around, or are you only using your head?
You just use the controller.
You just use the controller.
Like he was saying, the only thing you do, you can move and you can play the game entirely from like moving like this.
Yeah.
But this is basically a fine tune for where you're looking. So it's great to.
So you can't like do like a 360 turnaround with your
What
head?
happens is think of it like this: like your controller moves your body, your head actually just moves your head. So if you move your head to the right, your character's not going to move to the right. He's still going to move forward. You need to still tilt your waist.
The camera, because normally that.
Well, the camera goes that way, but you're still going to move.
That's how it is even on normal. Like you one's for the walking, one's for the camera. I was wondering if your head and your joystick could both control the camera.
They can, but they kind of like one moves a lot. This one, just like I said, it's kind of just for that last, that little bit of movement.
Does that add anything?
He said, because
game.
The center of your vision is your aim, which is fantastic it does make the game 100% easier if you play it on VR, because when something's coming at you, it's kind of weird. You look directly at them and you fire. So it's kind of like, I'm going to shoot you. Like
Dan just looked at me all bug-eyed.
Yeah, so later in the game, it helps a lot because there's these monsters in the game that are really tough to hit, because they're not really affected if you don't hit them like in the head. So being able to fine tune makes that 100% easier. Yeah. It'll save a lot of ammunition. Have you beat it yet?
Yeah, I beat it.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I beat the DLCs too, which were kind of fun.
Those like monsters in like the basement, they're a pain in the ass to shoot when you're on because I play it on slow. I hate having a high speed like joystick, so I have to have it on slow to make sure I don't waste any bullets. But the problem with that is there's more risk of you not shooting them in time.
It depends for me. I feel like there's a fine tune sensitivity for each game I play. Normally I'll play on like a medium to high sensitivity, usually not too high though, because then I'm all over the map.
Yeah. So this one, because you're moving so slow through the corridors, I figured, I'll just keep it on low, and that way I won't waste my bullets.
Yeah. And you were playing Skyrim too, right?
Wow.
Yes. So yeah, last thing about Resident Evil 7, I just want to say, I definitely recommend it to anyone that hasn't played it. My only gripe with the game, and this is kind of a somewhat silly gripe, is that I still don't think it's really a Resident Evil game. Like they mentioned at the very end, they throw in like one of the main characters, and he's in one of the DLCs, but he's like almost a completely different character than he ever was in the other games.
Yep.
It really has not a lot to do with Resident Evil, except for there's some puzzles and some bad guys.
Anything to do with Resident Evil.
Yeah, they have like conventional zombies. There's no.
They put a couple of like tiny little.
They put like a picture of a helicopter.
Yeah,
there's literally a picture with like a helicopter with the umbrella symbol on it. That's it. So yeah, it was definitely a VR game. They're like, how can we make this into?
Yeah, how do we triple the amount?
Exactly.
Do you think it started as a VR game?
Oh, it was. It was called Kitchen. The demo, there was a demo for it on VR, and it was called Kitchen.
Oh, but they didn't even. Did they release it on VR?
Yeah, it was
before or after.
Same time.
Yeah,
I mean, it was always you could use VR or not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At least for the PlayStation.
I thought the VR version came later. I didn't know that.
No, yeah, that was just included into it. But yeah, it was called Kitchen, and basically you just sat tied on a chair, and the little girl or the demonic woman from the beginning of the game, is trying to grab stuff all around you, and you hear things, and you can kind of turn your head, but eventually she just pretty much kills you.
It's kind of unfortunate that Umbrella Corps had more to do with Resident Evil than this game did.
Yeah, it's. I really wish they would kind of get back, throw in a lot more of those characters in the world, or even just do like a reboot. And
I think now that they have that.
With 2, I mean.
Well, I think 7 was the reboot, and they are working on Resident Evil 8, so they're probably going with that style, but adding in those characters.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't really like the style of 7 or like the characters in 7. Like for long term, they don't have that kind of like appeal and like kind of fandom that you could get behind, like the stars.
Well, I meant using the old characters, but just in the new style of game.
Yeah, I wish I'd be fine with that.
I think that's what they might do for the next one.
Kind of miss the old style too.
Yeah, I mean, with the success of Resident Evil 2
was so good.
Yeah, the success of Resident Evil 2, I feel like they need to continue that with Resident Evil 3 remake. Because Mr. X chasing you around was terrifying. Imagine the Nemesis being able to do that everywhere. Like he can chase you in the city. He can chase you like in a building, and not only that, he was someone that would bash through like a door and like come at you. Whereas Mr. X walked at that like very slow pace. Nemesis would charge at you at certain points.
And this game came out, I don't want to say 2017, maybe 2016. It's been out for a while, and I know they've been working...
I think it was like January of 2017.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're working on a Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, they've been working on that since that pretty much wrapped up. They've confirmed that, so it's got to be a couple of years into development. So it could be like any time we could hear about this, or maybe they're just selling it.
I feel like I saw a blurb about it recently.
The next systems, I don't know, but I'm excited.
Maybe
whatever it is, I'm excited now because I'd always not really loved 7 compared to the other ones, but obviously 6 I don't love.
Well,
either.
I mean, it was better than.
But in
VR, it was better than
better
6 and 5. So 6 and
5
5.
I liked it, but 5 I liked in a co-op setting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
about
very
it, but
But I also didn't
situational.
play 7, so
7. It goes back to its roots.
it just didn't look like something I would enjoy. Like it didn't.
It's
It
just
didn't
trying
have
to,
the
it's
charm.
trying to do too much, and like there's too many.
It's a good,
characters.
as I always said, it's a good horror game. It's not a good Resident Evil
And
game.
that's the thing. I would want to play it if, like, the first few games, even though they went back to more of a horror route, those games had a certain charm to them.
Well, Resident
was
Evil
lacking in
2,
this game.
That's the one to go back to. That one kept
Well,
all the magic.
One's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, then, well, you can play the remake, the Resident Evil 1 remake for
I
PlayStation 4,
already-
yeah. And the one that comes with Origins.
Yeah,
or,
I
excuse me,
already-
0 and 1.
I already did. When
Yeah.
I got it for free. One of the
Oh, really?
PlayStation
Yeah.
Plus
No,
ones.
that's a good one. They did a really
I haven't
great
done.
job
I
with
haven't
that.
played the 2 remake yet, though.
Oh, 2 is fantastic.
Okay, so the last game I'll just talk about. I've been taking a lot of time up is Skyrim VR, which I just started playing a couple days ago, and that's another game I could never get into. Same thing with like Fallout. It's just I needed more direction. I never knew what to do, and I would always end up just going to some town wicked far away and then getting like murdered by everything, or like touching a guard in the town and having him get mad at me and just like throwing me in jail. So I just get frustrated every time I play one of those games. So I tried to give it another shot now that I have VR and play with that. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely the worst looking version of that game when you're playing on VR, because just anything on VR is not going to look as good
Well,
as
it's
it
8
is.
years old, too.
Yeah, it's an 8-year-old game, but even so, like, you know, the 8-year-old versions look better than this. Like, there's a lot of pop-ups, pop-ins. There's a lot of like blurry textures, especially with faces if they're not like right close to you. But that's never been really a big deal for me. But what I have been doing is playing a lot with like a bow and arrow specifically, which feels amazing. Like it's like definitely the best bow and arrow simulator on VR that I've seen so far. Like I kind of feel like Legolas. Like I'll just be walking into a room and all of a sudden there'll be 3 guys and you literally have to. So I'll stand up and then you have to hold your right. I'm a lefty, so I'd have to hold my right hand like I would with a bow, and then with my left hand pull back on the arrow and like point it at them and, you know, try to get guys that are like way above me or way below me or to the left. And so you're like moving around and
It looked pretty accurate.
Yeah,
too,
it's pretty-
from when I
it's-
was watching you play.
yeah, it was pretty accurate. It's pretty fun. Excited to play more of that. It gets. I mean, it's a little dull in between when I'm just walking around, but anytime I get to kill guys with the bow and arrow is fun. That's it.
But are you enjoying Skyrim though?
Yeah, so
Oh,
far.
that's good.
I'm only a couple hours into it, which we'll see how long this tapers off at some
Yeah.
point. I'm sure it will, but we'll see.
Do the Thieves Guild. Go for that
Thieves
right
Guild.
away. That is one of the
See, I
best.
don't know where anything is.
It's on the.
I guess
It's
that's
like
what people
the very
like about
bottom
it, but it just
right.
annoys me when I don't know what to do.
The very bottom right hand of the map.
Yeah, I think when you go to the first town, it gives you like a bunch of quests to kind of explore.
This doesn't really give you, but it's a town on the very bottom right, and basically you go into the town and there's talk about a guild that, you know, of guild of thieves or whatever. Join the guild, and that mission is fantastic. It's probably one of the.
Steal. I'm a good guy.
Yeah, you're technically, they do it for, they're almost like Robin Hood. They do it for like good reasons.
It's like the third Aladdin movie.
Yes, it's good.
Aladdin and the 50 Thieves. I think that's
It's a
what
deep
it was.
cut, Andy. How many listeners do you think have seen the third Aladdin movie?
I liked it better than the second one. All right, Dan, what are you playing?
So I have completed A Plague Tale: Innocence.
I almost
nice.
did the blowhorn just for fun, but that's the official Dan completed a game noise, and it's playing more than once, which I didn't want it to do.
Do we not expect him to beat a lot of games?
He doesn't beat anything.
That is not true. I do beat things. I beat a lot of
Not
things.
often.
That is not true.
I would say no, compared to the amount of games you play.
Well, it also doesn't help. Like, I'm also playing Assassin's Creed, what's it called? Odyssey. That game is just
So play less
so
games.
long. No, I don't
On
want
this
to.
video game podcast that we're on.
No, I'm going to play as many games as I want. So, no. Assassin's Creed, I'm getting really, really close. I just hit 50.
I'm just
But
saying,
I'm worried I
15
hit it.
weeks, this is the second one. That's all I'm saying.
That's not true. 15 weeks? There's no way. I have
There's
completed.
no way you've only beaten 2
Yeah,
games
there's no
in
way.
15 weeks, right?
Did Resident Evil 2 come out when we started this?
No, that was before.
When did
oh
we
my
start?
god, is that true?
No. When did we start?
Ew,
When did we start? When did we
ew.
start this?
I beat more than 2 games this week.
Hang on. No, wait. When did we
Because I
start
played
this
the blowhorn
podcast?
last time you talked about
Yes.
this.
When was the last time that when was the first episode?
Oh, actually, I should redact that. You've beaten 2 games since we started keeping track, but even that was like 8 weeks ago.
There is no way. I have
Well,
totally
maybe
seen
you're from-
Rage 2 I beat.
I think that might have been the one.
Rage 2 I beat. What's it called?
Oh, A Plague Tale, which is the one
Plague
today.
Tale, yep. Hang on. I totally have beaten up. All right, you know what? I'm gonna make a list.
compile.
I'm gonna make a list, and when did we start?
Well, how about this? Just going forward, we will be keeping track. Don't give me that hand movement. I did this hand movement. I did a chop. You're doing like a weird little cat claw thing.
That's totally what you did.
We will keep track going forward. So far you're up to 2. And I will keep track, and we will see what you come up to by next June.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
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 But I'm also going to be keeping track of every game you play.
Oh,
Because I want to know the percentage.
Okay. I'm also like going through and going back and playing and beating some of the games. Assassin's Creed, I'm going back and beating.
So go on.
Anyway, so what I thought was pretty neat with Plague Tale is somebody mentioned on Twitter, they're another reviewer like myself, and they mentioned, this is a great game, and he put it as his potential game of the year, and he added one of the program, I don't know if you want to call it the program engineers for the rats in the game. Which I thought was pretty neat, and the guy actually responded to us on our Twitter account, which I thought was pretty cool.
Do you want to plug his
yeah, I'm trying
Twitter
to
handle?
find him. He is. Hang on, we shouldn't have. Well, we have a lot of mentions. Cyril. Oh God. Dulian. How would you say it, Mr. Matt?
I'm the expert on pronouncing names here,
you
remember?
were the worst.
Yeah.
Cyril, that's right. Doylin. CYRILDOILLON. Would you agree, Cyril Doylin?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So Cyril Doylin was the program engineer for the rats, and he responded to us with thanks, and then a few little rat emojis. And then on top of that, there was the actual game company that made the official Twitter account for the game actually tweeted at us as well. As well.
At A Plague Tale.
You didn't
That
get any
said,
free game codes out of this?
How do we like it? Say again?
We didn't get free game codes out of this?
No, you're
I
getting
want to
it.
suck up to these companies. I want free stuff.
I'm
I
not.
thought you were supposed to start doing that.
I am.
What are you supposed to do?
What were you saying, Dan? Let's get back to...
Wait.
Let's get back to what Dan's doing and what Matt's not doing.
Wait, I want to pin Matt to something on Matt. No, but anyway, I just thought it was neat that they responded to us with kind of asking us what we thought about it, and I told them that I got a few of you guys interested in possibly playing the game and trying it.
Mine installed on my PS4 yesterday, so I'll be playing.
Oh, you
that.
actually got it already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
And next week I have all next week off, so aside from doing a lot of podcast,
Yeah, you'll beat that.
maintenance,
You'll beat
I'll
that
be,
game in 2-3 days. It's like a 12-15 hour campaign.
okay, I mean, maybe I can beat it in a day if I just spend a whole day doing it.
I don't know if you want to destroy it in one day, but damn,
It's my vacation.
that
That's
is
all I
true.
ever
You
wanted.
can do that. You very much can do that.
Vacation, I just had to get away.
And then I just picked up, thanks to Matt's glorious review of Devil May Cry 5. I will be trying that. So I heard good things about it, and I saw the. I'm a sucker for deluxe edition like covers, and somebody had the deluxe edition cover codes already used, but they weren't selling for like $35. I was like, why not? I'll buy it. So I'm excited to try that, and hopefully next time, maybe next week, I'll finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Are you like really stretching to do every little thing in the game, or are you just trying to do the main story?
No, I'm just trying to do. Well, I want. There's two things I really want to do. One, I want to get to the top. There's like a mercenary tier.
Because every time you talk about it, it makes me worried about even attempting to play it again. Because I'm like, oh, guys, it's going to take like 100 hours of my life away.
It does take a long time, unfortunately.
Even beating the main story is
One
gonna take
cool
50,
thing
60 hours.
that I did not know is that that special currency that you get for like daily missions or weekly missions. I forget what it's called.
I think I ignored that completely.
Yeah, but what I found out was really cool is that if you use that currency and go to that, I think his name is Oikos or something. He's like the merchant that deals exclusively in this type of money.
Bitcoin?
Yes. But when he basically is like a loot box generator, like and then he has a few items that are special for sale. Usually they're like rare items, but then he also has like a loot box that you can buy for 20 of those, and you get either a random epic or a random legendary, but they come from the paid DLC section. So there's like a few of the paid DLCs that I really, really want, but I refuse to let them, have my actual money. So I just keep doing the weekly mission, getting 20 or 40, and then buying a few of the loot boxes, see what I get. One of them I got one helmet I liked, but
How much does the loot box cost?
20 of those, and if you do one of those like gold, like there's a mission where it gives you a gold amount of that currency. It gives you basically enough for 2 packs.
Sweet.
So I thought that was pretty neat. So I've been working towards that on the side, and then just trying to be the number one like tier rank like mercenary. But I'm afraid I found a glitch because I guess one of the guys is a cultist, and I killed him before I hit the highest rank, and now that number 1 spot is undiscovered. And at one point I ran around for about an hour murdering everyone that I possibly could to get the high bounty so that people would come at me. But I keep slaughtering them and they don't give me any information on the new guy. So I'm like, crap.
Yeah,
So
this has got to be the longest average play for an Assassin's Creed game. I don't remember any of them.
no, they were
that
pretty
long.
straightforward. Origins really opened that up.
I hear right now I'm reading something for Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and Brotherhood. It was about 16, 35, and 24, respectively. So 35...
35 hours?
I guess for Assassin's Creed 2. I don't even remember Assassin's Creed 2.
No,
being
I
that
don't
long.
recall. Maybe 20 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that ending was pretty epic.
Oh, Assassin's Creed 11, AC2 18, Brotherhood 15, Revelations Who Cares. So yeah, they were all an average. All of them averaged. With side missions, you could stretch Brotherhood out to 40, but that's with doing every little thing, which I did. I can't imagine what Odyssey would be like if you stretched and did every little thing. It seems like a very daunting game. I do give them credit.
I'm
for
seeing
pumping out
117.
average.
Yeah, and how long to beat
Yeesh.
if you do
Where'd you get that from?
howlongtobeat.com.
That's a pretty cool website. How long to beat?
Yeah, it tells you exactly how long to beat game's main story, and then it has like a completionist or like if you just want to do some of the extra stuff, so you can type it in and see what the average is.
I'm bookmarking that right now.
But yeah, you can see like
I don't want to touch that site until after I've beaten the game because I will be so disappointed. Like Resident Evil 2,
crazy.
I really wanted that to keep going and going and going. And I heard rumors online like, oh, it only lasts 6 hours, only lasts this. And I'm like, I'm beefing this up.
Did
I'm,
the original game only last like 6 hours?
well,
Yeah,
it
they're
did,
pretty
but
short.
I just wanted it to last.
Did you
like,
think they were going to like add a lot of content?
no, but they
kinda
could make it
did.
difficult.
You can play it over with like a different character or a different scenario, which
Yeah.
it's not that different, but
Well, make
at
it
least it's
difficult, make it
something
more,
different.
make it more difficult.
Did you ever play the hunk in the tofu?
That is
side
difficult.
missions?
That is really
It's hard.
difficult. I got towards the end. Basically, the first like 5 minutes, my goal is to get through without shooting a bullet, and I usually can get through pretty well. But it starts going
Yeah, it gets
downward.
stressful.
Well, it gets downward, or I take a downward spiral when I see that the liquor in the hallway because I'm like, do I just like use a magnum there? Do I not? So it usually ends poorly.
Yeah, that makes me a little bit worried about Link's Awakening because that was a really short Game Boy game that they're remaking. I know they added the dungeon creator.
Is it $60
Feature?
too?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I'm a little worried. I'm still getting it, but I'm a little worried. Oh, especially the edition I'm getting, the European one with the Game Boy Steelbook.
That on eBay is going for a lot of money. So
Oh.
good thing you pre-ordered it.
Yep. Good.
So-
Thank you, Katie.
Yep. Well, you can thank her in person. When's she coming up? But yeah, no, on eBay, I saw it. It's going for a hefty price. I think it's like going for $300 or something.
Is that all your plan?
Yeah, I mean, my other goal is to go through and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh, that's right. You're
So,
playing Ultimate Alliance 3.
so I was having fun. I finally got my wife to actually hop in and play. So that's kind of a fun couch co-op game. But yeah, so Devil May Cry 5, hopefully I'll be hopping into.
Can she just jump in and like play as your characters that you already have leveled up? Oh, that's nice.
So it's a really nice jump in, jump out. I love it really is very close to what the movie characters were. So, and I'm like, hey, I recall Black Panther kind of acting like this or having this kind of persona. Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. Who's the Star-Lord?
I mean, they take liberties. I mean, nothing in any of the Ultimate Alliance games has ever been like about what the movies are like,
Well, this one I feel like it's actually like pretty close.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to the personalities, the voice actors to an extent. No, they did a great job. Like I said, if you wanna borrow it after I'm done with it.
I'm all set.
Oh, okay. I guess you're not that interested in a dungeon
not make it
crawler.
good.
But it is a good beat 'em up. It's a good fun beat 'em up. So simple controls.
So do you guys remember a few weeks ago
Yeah, it was.
when I mentioned something about the Switch Lite and how I think it would do financially? And I just don't think any research was done into who would be buying this. Again, they're going to prove me wrong. I'm sure it's going to sell great. I'm going to be proved wrong.
I feel like pre-orders have been out the door. I just on the way driving here, I saw like pre-orders are up again, but only very shortly, and Walmart has it, but only for a few minutes.
Yeah,
Like
they're selling out everywhere.
I just don't understand. I still don't understand
understand
why
people.
people are that interested in this Switch Lite.
You're
I
missing
just
the big headline, though.
what's the big headline?
I mean, I was right.
Of course you were. I mean, anything Nintendo makes that's.
Anything I say is right. Let's just remember.
I mean,
that.
I mean, besides the Wii U, it's everything that Nintendo makes is gold.
I'm surprised that pre-orders were like going in and out of stock so quickly. I can't imagine that it's because they had such a low stock. I'm assuming it's because it's in high demand. Maybe it's not just like any of them specifically. It was like all of them were selling out. All of the colors. There's the 3 colors, and there's the Pokemon edition, which the Pokemon edition was
Sell it immediately.
going to be like a high seller. Like nobody thought of that. I'm still shocked, but I'm saying that's what I was saying. Like every time they came out with a new 3DS, you thought it was going to sell well, and then boom, everybody bought it.
Yeah, I don't understand. The only thing I can think of that why this is selling really well is for those people that refuse to get, the console. They just like, no, I like the mobile. I'll play the
For
Game
Pokemon
Boy.
specifically.
Yes, well, for Pokemon, for any of those.
Pokemon sells.
It sells well.
Systems.
Yeah. And I bet the fact is for the people that are just always on the go, they just want to take it with them. And I bet all those 3DS people are gonna this system I feel like will officially kill the 3DS. Like they'll just kill it at this point. They'll be like, all right, that's it.
They really pretty much already did.
Well, yeah, but I feel like this one will be the
They
nail in the
haven't,
coffin. Like we're done.
E3 this year, they didn't. Did they have
Sure.
any titles for the 3DS this past E3? I think they've pretty much already moved on from it.
Oh, okay. But I feel like this will be like, hey, this is it.
Well, yeah,
but-
I mean, Pokemon coming to the consoles. That was once they announced that was like, okay, so they aren't running in tandem. They've done this before. This isn't the first time they've done this. When the DS came out, they said that it was going to be a third pillar, and they were going to have the Game Boy Advance and the DS at the same time. 1 year later, Game Boy's done, DS in, and DS was like their highest selling handheld.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many people that are buying this already have a Switch, because I feel like it's a lot of people that just want like a cool new toy that already have one. Like it's probably not a huge amount of people that are like, oh, I've been waiting for the portable version of this.
Do they not know
Because
that
it's
the
already
Switch
is
a
portable?
version. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Is it ignorance?
No, I guess they just like.
I mean,
stuff.
there are people who have 2 Switches, just like there's people who have like multiple docks.
I have the multiple
On
dock.
their
I think the multiple docks
porch.
is great because you can bounce it anywhere you want really quickly. What's wrong with having a dock on my porch?
It's just, I like bringing it up.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna enjoy playing Ultimate Alliance.
I've
on
thought
the
about
porch.
buying a second dock for my girlfriend's house and just being able to switch it back and forth.
They're pretty expensive, right?
No, they're like $20 for the dock.
Oh,
Are you sure? I thought it was like
yeah,
60
it
or
wasn't.
70.
Yeah, it's more like 60.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's disgusting.
Just
That
buy
thing
a
is not
pre-owned.
worth.
just buy a pre-owned.
Oh, maybe that's what I was looking at, the pre-owned prices of the docking
I
station.
bought mine pre-owned for 60. I bought it from GameStop and got the
Pre-owned 60? How much is it new?
new. It's probably about 80.
Oh, for the... Oh, God, it's
right.
such
That's
like
how
a
they get you because it's
tiny-
connected. It's kind of like the Wii U pad. Like they're technically one and the same.
There's
but
a lot of technology in that Wii U pad. There's not a lot going on in that docking
I
station.
know, but that's what they can do. They can do
It's
for
a
you.
USB port handy.
It
I'll-
comes with 2 USB ports, an AC adapter, and an HDMI cable.
Yeah, no,
And it just upreses it from 720 to 1080 onto your TV. Not even like extremely good.
And it's plastic,
And it's
you know?
just really
It's a little
cheap
home for your Switch.
plastic.
Mhm.
It is a home. It feels all safe in there.
Yep.
Speaking of Switches like going in and out of stock, I looked at some very interesting sales numbers today, as I often like to bring up the I'm always very curious how the sales numbers are going with the systems and who's on track to do what. And we talked about on the video game Jeopardy last week. PS2 is their best-selling system for Sony. It looks like the PS4 is on pace to break those numbers, which isn't. I guess is a bit of a surprise because I feel like the PS2 had even less competition than the PS4 does now. But from what I looked up, and unfortunately I forgot to write down a source for this, so I apologize. I just saw this on Twitter passing by. So the PS4 surpassed 100 million units, and it got to 100 million faster than the PS2 and the Wii.
Wow.
The Wii surprises me because I thought the Wii peaked really early, so I was surprised that it made it to 100 million faster than the Wii. And then the Switch has so far sold 36.87 million and is tracking in line with the PS4.
But how many of those are just people upgrading from the PS4 to the Pro? Because it's like cheating, I feel like. But it's
I don't know if that's true. That is technically,
people.
I'm two of those numbers if they're counting both, and I bet they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say the same thing about if your system broke and you got the slim versions last, or if I did it with the PS2. I bought two PS2s.
I mean, my PS2 lasted like 15 years, so longer than that, almost 20 years. It just broke like last year, so I was using like a launch PS2 forever.
I bought my PS2.
Those things are the definition of durable.
I bought my the slim one.
Well, everything, the PS2.
Yeah,
felt-
Not the big one.
I still think the big one, was it the big one?
Mine was like
yeah,
a
the
launch
durable
one
as
that
like,
lasted
you know,
forever.
not shipping and moving it, but playing it, like using it.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
mine I got refurbished from GameStop, and I was a very young lad. I was only like 15, and that was my first experience with. Oh, I shouldn't do that at GameStop because they don't obviously know what they're doing.
No.
And also, it was just like a lot of empty space inside. The Slim I've had because the PS2 they gave me didn't work, and then I don't know, their return policy back then was garbage, so I couldn't like return it and get my money back. So I ended up just getting a PS2 Slim. I think I got it brand new back in 2005 or so, maybe 2006, and it's lasted me ever since. It's worked perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, it is a good piece.
The Switch being so the graph I looked at, the Switch.
By the
was-
way, speaking of, I found.
Oh my
Yeah, there's
God.
$65 for.
I would never.
I'm showing.
I
I'm
would
showing Andy the
never pay
price
that
for.
much for a Switch dock.
Yeah, I know, but having the idea of being able to just pop it
Yeah,
is awesome. But you could, if you wait, I'm sure they'll be cheaper.
Way too cheap to pay $65 for a.
You could get a new
Switch
game.
dock.
That's so much more
I
fun.
know.
Yeah,
But hey, look at the controllers, $70 a piece. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, those have a lot of technology in them, though.
They do.
The dock just feels like such a
Cheap piece of plastic.
yeah. That's just Nintendo getting you, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, the Switch lining up to be on pace with the PS4 to get to 100 million. So obviously they've been out for a shorter period of time, but what they did was the graph counted it from 0 months to however long systems have been out, and they had a lot of the last gen systems as well as the current gen systems, and the Switch graph almost mimicked the PS4 graph, and I thought that was really exciting. I hope that momentum continues, and I mean, if pre-orders for the Switch Mini, which I'm sure are lumped into the Switch total sales, are any indication, that will continue. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Nintendo reacts to the next gen consoles launching.
I'm hoping that, again, if they get more money for it, I'm hoping that they'll, like I said, they'll make a Pro, they'll make a special edition Zelda one, they'll make something, you know. I know they're making the new battery one, but that doesn't seem like the full...
That's not enough.
That's not enough,
Yeah.
but I feel like they will do, maybe in a year and a half, they will do something.
I just want one with a bit of an upgraded graphics card. There's especially in Zelda, and I said this on previous podcasts. I say this a lot actually. There's frame rate dips.
Yep.
The Witcher 3, which no one expected it to look amazing. They really had to dub down that game to get it onto the Switch. I would like one that made things look at least a bit nicer. And I'm not the type of person to care about graphics first when it comes to video games, but when it's inhibiting the game, like the frame rate issues when you're in the Lost Woods in Breath of the Wild, that was very noticeable. It did inhibit my gameplay. It took me out of the immersion. So I would like one that's a bit more beefed up. It doesn't need to be a complete redesign or anything like that. I understand they still need to attach the Joy-Cons. They don't want to get rid of, it's not like they're going to make a new version of the Switch that's going to get rid of that, but little things like the earphone jack and that kickstand and stuff like that. Just
Well, that and hopefully I don't know if it'll come with a bigger card, like memory card or something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just come with like a 64. What is it, 32 gig or
Yeah.
something? What's the one
I
that
think
comes
it's
32.
32? Yeah, if they can come with a 64 or
I
128.
mean, I just got a micro SD card on Prime Day.
I know.
for
I
mine,
wish you told me about
so
that deal. Damn it, that was my bad. I should have. So you're usually good with those deals.
I would have had I known you were.
I know, I would have
looking
bought it.
for one.
Yeah.
I would have let you know.
So because I know mine's filling up quick.
Did you see the stuff about Modern Warfare?
Which
the-
stuff? I
Just
saw the
a couple
gameplay.
of little things. I still haven't watched the gameplay video
Kill
yet. But,
streaks,
kill
I know they're
streaks are
bringing back.
returning. There's going to be realistic customization. I don't know.
I saw the customization that they're bringing up. It looks super advanced, kind of like it was in Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I'm a little worried
Why?
that I'm gonna buy this game.
I
I mean,
Oh,
I
no.
already said I was gonna gamefly it so I could play with you, but like, I just feel like Call of Duty is one of those franchises. Activision is one of those companies where it's just like, we got him again. We got your
Yeah, I
money
mean,
now.
you didn't like the last couple, right?
I
The World War
loathed
II one,
World
and
War
then-
II. I didn't get Black Ops 4 because it was just the
It's just the battle
multiplayer, and-
royale.
Yeah, it wasn't
I mean,
very
I don't
good.
even like the campaigns, and I was even like, that doesn't look very good. And I did play it on the free weekend, and it wasn't very good. The last one I like even marginally enjoyed was Black Ops 3, but it was still kind of hollow. Like, I can't remember the last one I thought like, oh my god, this is like a fantastic multiplayer. Probably like Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So maybe this is gonna be, I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
I like the fact that they're apparently doing. You can have 5 parts on your weapon. So like the stock, the sight, the barrel, the magazine, the probably a underbarrel, whatever. There's 11 different pieces that you can change, but you can only change 5.
Doesn't
so-
everybody start out? Oh no, that was
They-
the
they
specific
did
game
the-
mode where
well,
everybody started out with the same weapon.
Yeah, that's just called like gun something.
So you can still have your
Gun match or
like your
something.
your custom loadout depending on what level you're at.
Yeah,
and
but
all
this one
that
I think they're
stuff.
going away from. Typically, it seemed like Call of Duty was doing a point system where certain sites cost 2 points or 3 or whatever, and that you had like a limited number of points. Like you had 15 points, so whatever you could put into your points is what you could have. So if you wanted to take out your secondary weapon, just have one. That would save you some points, but then each additional piece that you add to your gun.
Yeah, it sounds so convoluted.
It worked out well, and this one I like it is because now they're going to give you 5 pieces that you can add to your weapon out of 11. So if you are one that likes to walk around with a silencer like I do, like if you want something like a red dot
that was
sight,
how the old games were too. Like, you couldn't have just everything on your gun. You'd have to kind of pick and choose which stuff you'd want.
well, the like Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare had it where you either had like a silencer and that's it, or you had a
Well, I
sight
guess I'm
or
more
that's it.
talking like Black Ops 3.
Yeah, some of the newer ones, yeah, you were allowed to kind of pick and choose. But this one is, they're not going to give you points. It's just you get 5 slots out of 11 that you can fill. The rest of them have to be blank, so pick wisely. So, if you're really good with the iron sights, you might be able to, save a slot. And, if you're in a close range match or something, you don't need a sight. So you can save yourself a point there and put it onto like a grenade launcher or something.
Someone on I was listening to IGN's Game Scoop a few weeks ago, and they mentioned something kind of funny. So I think one of the huge reasons that Activision is doing this push with is it Infinity Ward who's doing this one, or Treyarch?
Infinity Ward.
Infinity Ward. One of the reasons they're doing this push is because they've noticed the Call of Duties over time, over the past like 5 or 6, and we went over these numbers on a previous podcast. They're slipping. They've been slipping a lot. And it's funny because it looks like they're fixing everything that everybody complained about. But what if it still doesn't sell well? Is that just because there's a saturation in the market? Because there is a lot of military-style shooters out there at this point,
There is, but I feel like this is like the Grand Theft Auto of them all. Like this one people always will go back to, especially with boots on the ground. I feel like
But that's the issue, is that they haven't been lately. With like
They haven't been.
even WW2 or the few before that. Like, it's been a while since one's like really been towards the top of the charts.
Yeah, but I feel like also this has been like the battle royale time. So I feel like this is
Oh, I'm going back like 5 years.
no, I know, but I feel like this battle royale kind of has really knocked it down, and I'm wondering, especially when Call of Duty tried to jump in on the battle royale, and I feel like it failed. I want to say it failed, but I haven't looked at the numbers.
I feel like,
but
yeah,
it's definitely not it hasn't succeeded to their expectations. for them alone. For sales as a game, I know it's always in like the top 10, gee whiz. But I feel like this one is going to really sell well. I don't feel like there's a lot of great multiplayer games that are coming out it doesn't have to compete with Halo coming out in November. Halo is going to be next year, probably with the new system that they said. Battle Royale, Battlefield.
What turns me off the most about Call of Duty is because I bought the last one and I'm probably not going to get this one, is just the whole monetization thing. Like, I feel like I can't just buy this game. Like, they won't let me buy the game. I have to pay $60 for the game. I have to pay. Their season passes are ridiculously expensive. I think it was $50.
Free, this one. The big thing is they're trying to make it free.
Oh, is it? Yep. Okay. And then, just like all the stupid like loot boxes and...
Well, there is none. There is no season pass.
There's no season pass, which I agree with, because I like the fact that they're also trying to get all the gamers to play, instead of tiering them, like, oh, you bought tier 1, so you have access to this, but these players don't. So that hinders it. But I understand if they're gonna have little loot boxes for for free content. So if they're gonna do, hey, you play a game and you can do this, as long as it's not pay to win and as long as it's not super grindy. I want to be winning something every 2 games, or even if it's a loot box or something, or if I want to save my money, like what they could do is like you can spend 200 credits in-game points that I don't know, 2,000 experience equals 200 coins or whatever. And at that point, you could spend 1 and buy 1 loot box, or if you get, 10,000, or not 10,000, I'm sorry, 1,000, that gets you a bonus one for free, or a guaranteed like rare or whatever. I will do that, sure. But as long as it's not pay to win.
I just don't trust them like with the games they've made lately, just any sort of...
I have it pre-ordered. I'm ready to, like, as long as they show me what I want to see, which is a deep, immersive campaign, which it seems like this one is going back to, like Modern Warfare, which I liked. After that, I stopped caring. I did not like World at War. World War II was boring. The World War II game, World at War, was a separate game.
Black Ops 4 made it to number 11 out of all Call of Duty.
So that's not good.
The newest one to make it to the top 5 for all Call of Duties was Black Ops 3, and that's at number 5.
That was Black Ops 3 was the last one that then it started fading, but I think that's because they were obsessed with like futuristic. And I think people were sick. That's why I'm sick of the exoskeletons and the futuristic one. They wanted boots on the ground again. Hence why Call of Duty World War II was supposed to do that, which it was okay, but the campaign was pretty lackluster. I didn't care about any of the characters.
About how much I hate that game.
Yeah, I didn't mind the multiplayer. It was okay, but it just something about the level design wasn't as cool and unique as, like, let's say a Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3.
And to your point, I don't think a lot of those type of games are coming out this November. The only one I can think of is the new I was going to say Black Ops. That's incorrect. Tom Clancy's something.
Ghost Recon?
But I feel like that's not really a multiplayer game. That's more of like a co-op game, or a at least what it seems like they're trying to turn this into is like another division.
PvE, not PvP.
Yeah, this is they're turning it more into an MMO. What it seems like now, they're trying to make like the Division, except open world.
Because Battlefield just came out.
Yep. Battlefield takes.
But then here's the thing, though. We live in a world now where there's like 4 or 5 different battle royales that are taking a market share, and they're just always running, and people still haven't stopped playing them. That's why,
I don't finish any games anymore.
Like Modern Warfare might boost better sales numbers than some previous Call of Duty titles, but I don't think they're gonna get the type of numbers they used to back with like their highest selling one was Modern Warfare 3. I don't think they're ever gonna reach those heights again because there's just not enough market share to go around.
No, but I'm looking at all the games that I'm picking up towards the end of the year, like Death Stranding, Star Wars Fallen Jedi, Luigi's Mansion, Outer Worlds. All of these games do not have like a multiplayer component to it.
No, but I was just saying that the battle royales that are currently going on.
But I feel like that phase is going to die. I feel like it's already like apparently Apex. I've seen a lot of articles about how it's starting to hinder Apex a little bit.
Apex dropped almost immediately after it launched.
Yeah, which sucks.
Fortnite got back up though.
I know I can't stand that game.
And then there's still PUBG,
I
which has
love
actually made more money than all of them. I found out, which is very
PUBG.
interesting.
It's just a very.
There was something.
I don't know.
Something
That
it
doesn't
did.
sound right.
I just want someone to make that formula better. And anyway, but the only other game I can see that it really combating with is it's not even really going to combat it, is Doom Eternal, because Doom is pushing a lot of multiplayer, and it's going to be a chaotic, mess of a multiplayer in a fun way. It's going to be like Halo on steroids.
From recollection, do you remember if anything came out around the time that World War II or Black Ops 4 came out?
Yes,
Black Ops 4 I'm putting on the side because that was a bit of an enigma of a game. They were doing the whole like multiplayer only. Like they changed so much with that game that it was almost like destined not to do as well as the others, so I don't really count that.
I believe it's Battlefield 5 came out at the same time that World War II was.
Okay.
Because they both were competing for World War II, like boots on the ground. I remember that.
Well, Battlefield 5 was modern though, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was World War II.
You're thinking Battlefield 1.
No, Battlefield 1 was World War 1.
Okay.
Battlefield 5 was Battlefield World War 2. World War
What was
2.
the one that came out this past January?
They didn't.
Or this past
Oh,
December?
that was Battle Royale. I'm doing wrong.
Battle Royale.
Battlefield 5.
All right, so Call of Duty World War II came out not this past October.
Then they
but
would have
the one
competed with
before.
Battlefield 1, which would have been World War 1
Okay.
games.
Did it also come out in the fall though? Like did they? Both
They
come
came
around
out
the
within a
same
month
time?
of each other,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Which EA always tries to do that, and unfortunately, they always
With their own games.
Yeah, but I wouldn't doubt. I wonder if Titanfall 2.
I think with all of the changes they're making, it'll sell well. I'm worried that they're setting their expectations too high. I'm worried. I'm sorry. Worried isn't the right word. I don't worry about Activision. Activision doing well and not doing well doesn't keep me up at night. I'm just saying, like, I think that they think this is going to be like this is the solution game, and while it might be something that I enjoy more or you might enjoy more, I don't think it's necessarily going to like break into like the top 3 or 4 best-selling Call of Duties because I think there's just way too many of those types of games.
Well, on top of that, too, I mean, I feel like when Call of Duty 4 came out, it was like the pinnacle of like next gen first person
When nothing
shooters
else was out
when
like
nothing
that.
was out, and at this point the market is so flooded with a lot of great first person games. But I do see it. I do see it possibly creeping into the top 5. Possibly.
Well, here's the top 5 right now: Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops.
Yeah, it's
the
just gonna
first
keep
one,
going down the line.
Black Ops 2.
Yep.
Ghosts, Black Ops 3.
I'm surprised.
Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare, and Modern Warfare 2 didn't even crack the top 5.
Wow, where are they?
Um,
They got to be in the top 10.
6 and 7.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, it went right down the line. Yeah.
And then actually, World War 2 is right behind Advanced Warfare.
Yep. Call of Duty 4 is what put them on the map.
But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 did 30 million.
Because that was right
units.
after the huge sale of
World
Modern
War
Warfare
2
2.
only did 20. And actually, that's not even that big of a... Like, I feel like 20 million units shipped is still nothing to, like, scoff at.
No.
So-
As a game in general, yes, that is fantastic.
It just
sales.
didn't meet their
It
standards.
just didn't meet their expectations, which, like I said, at that point, they might be expecting just this to really, break
If
a
those
lot of...
20 million units were sold at a full $60 MSRP, that's $1.2 billion in sales alone.
Yep, they're fine.
That's a lot of.
And on
dollars.
top of that, you got World of Warcraft, you got, potential Diablo coming out. They'll be okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. Is there anything else you guys wanted to bring to the table?
No. Yep.
Anything, Dan?
No, I'm good. What do you got, Andy? It seems like you have something on your mind.
I just remembered that I had something on my mind. It's just I talked about it on my Zelda episode last night, and I wanted to get your guys' thought on it. So, when I'm doing the Zelda episode, it's a very, kind of like our current show format on here. It's a little more casual. I mean, I am just talking to a wall for like 45 minutes to an hour. And I was talking about Skyward Sword, and I was specifically talking about the bokoblins in Skyward Sword. And I mentioned just off, like, I thought of this as I was doing the podcast. Like, oh, it's really cool that all of the Zelda, like, games have like the same enemies in multiple games, but they change them drastically based on the art style of the specific Zelda game. Like if you look at the bokoblins in Breath of the Wild, and look at them in Skyward Sword, they're very two different looking creatures, but they both do sort of look like bokoblins, but they match like their surrounding art style. And I'm like, that's really cool. I don't know if there's a lot of franchises that do that. I knew Final Fantasy was the other one I thought of, where Final Fantasy, like, they'll have similar summonings or similar enemies, but they do change depending on the game, even though every game is sort of in the same, I would say, art style almost.
Yeah, it's not as different as those Zelda games.
And
for sure.
I compared that to the exact contrast of the same company, Mario. In a Goomba is a Goomba is a Goomba is a Goomba. And I realized I feel like Mario's overdue for a bit of a paint job, almost. Like, I understand Mario's one of the most recognized. Now, I'm not saying change the way Mario looks. Don't worry, everybody. I'm not saying anything that weird or drastic.
Maybe give Waluigi his own game. Really mix it up.
Yeah, or at least get him in Smash Brothers. But I'm just saying, like, Mario games for a while now, for me, Odyssey aside, because I really liked Odyssey, the platformers became very stale very quickly for me, because a lot of them were pretty much just rinse and repeat the same thing, same types of enemies. The Goombas have legitimately not changed since Mario 64. They look the same. The Koopas all look the same. They don't really like make any artistic style changes, albeit maybe Paper Mario or something like that. But even then, the
characters themselves don't change. But I feel like there's a lot of completely different Mario games. Like Odyssey is so different than Galaxy, which is so different than
Paper Mario.
Paper Mario,
I was
which is
talking
so different
specifically
than,
about the 2D
GameCube
ones.
one, whatever, Sunshine.
Yeah, because 64
water
to
jet.
Sunshine to Galaxy to Odyssey were all they were all open world games, but they were all very different, and I really enjoyed them. But the 2D ones in particular, there's a reason why Super Mario World is my favorite Mario. It's because, like, all of the ones that have come out over the past decade have all pretty much just been the same game. They just keep adding a new suit to Mario.
Yeah, I don't really like the new Super Mario, the side-scrolling ones. They are, to your point, they are very much similar and kind of. I mean, they're still fun because they're Mario games, but they're very generic-y.
Yeah.
So how many have any of you beaten those new Super Mario? Because I'll play the
can't.
first
It-
5
last one
levels.
I
It
played was
feels
on the
too. It feels
You
too
just get bored
repetitive,
after a
and
few
yeah,
levels.
it's
You're
just
like,
it
this
doesn't
was
have the
fun for a
same
level.
charm. But I can go back and play Mario 3. I can go back and play
Well,
the
'cause
one for Super Nintendo.
Paper Mario was Paper Mario a side scroller?
Or
was that more of an RPG?
No, it's more of an RPG.
Okay, so for side-scrolling Mario games, the art style has not changed since the Wii. The Wii introduced that sort of like, hey, we're taking the 3D Mario but making him a side-scroller, and it has not changed since. I think that game may have come out for the 25th anniversary of Mario. That Super Mario Bros. For the Wii. Is that right, Dan?
That sounds about right.
So that was 2010. So the art style hasn't changed in 9 years, and I was just randomly thinking about it last night. And I'm like, I feel like side-scrolling Mario could really use an artistic.
Yeah, I'm just
direction
wondering if
change.
maybe they're not even targeting us. Like they target us for
they're not.
Odyssey, and those games they're really targeting like little kids and families that want to play together because they're
Yeah.
you can just be in a bubble and be like just kind of playing while your dad plays
You
for
can
you.
do both,
basically.
though. You can make a co-op Mario game that's a side-scroller. I'm just saying, like, visually, because like the games just became very stale, and they did kind of feel wonky when you played them. I tried whatever one had the cat.
Super Mario 3D World?
Yeah, again,
3D Land, I'm sorry.
Also, Nintendo, your naming convention for the Mario games need a
Not just
a bit.
not just Mario games, just their systems and everything. Except the Switch was actually worked. Really.
Yeah, I feel like
The Wii U.
the 3DS had a few too many system revisions, and the naming conventions for them were not always good. The Switch has been fine so far. It's been the Switch and the Switch Lite. I'm fine with that. But the
Hopefully
Mario
Switch Pro,
games,
come
like,
on,
new
Nintendo.
Super Mario Deluxe Switch version, Mario, buy again, please. Pay us money.
I get suckered into buying it
much
because I know at some point I'll play it.
Yeah, I get like
But
I
it's just-
haven't enjoyed a side-scrolling Mario in quite a long time. Again, I'm not talking about the open world ones; those have been fine. I've enjoyed. I still haven't played Mario Sunshine, but I want to go back and. Do you own that, Matt?
No, I do not.
Okay,
I have it.
yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love to try
for
that
GameCube.
sometime.
Yeah,
Decent. It's fun.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't. Play
it's
it.
difficult. Apparently, it's really difficult.
People gave it a bad rap, and then I was actually looking it up recently, and I'm like, oh, it looks really fun.
It is a lot of fun. Plus, the music is really catchy. It's like very beachy.
When I had my GameCube and I was like, actively using my GameCube, that was when I was like between the ages of 12 and 17, I didn't really have like money to buy my own games. I actually asked a friend if I should get Wind Waker, and thank God he suggested it to me because I loved that game. Have you played any more Wind Waker, Dan?
I have not. That is another one I want to beat because I am really enjoying the level design on
good.
that. I going back.
I really hope they redo it for Switch soon.
I mean, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
It's basically just printing the money at that point.
Oh yeah, they're not stupid. Maybe if they do a pro edition with a Zelda game, that'd be fantastic.
So moving on to our discussion topic for the day. This discussion topic, presented by Matt, or suggested by Matt, was actually originally
Not
suggested.
mine. Yeah, at all.
I don't really know how to present the information.
You
It originated from an email listener, by the name of Zach from, I think he still lives in Marlboro. Zach from Massachusetts.
There you go.
Zach writes, "Hey guys, wanted to first say, hey, look, you got an email." Matt was very happy.
It was great.
It
Great
was
moment for us.
Best day of his life. Second, love the show. Was wondering if there is a favorite multiplayer game that you've played either together or with others. Gotta
Yeah.
say, the laid-back format works real well, and while the other guys may not like them, the sound effects are pretty funny. And see, someone likes my sound effects.
Oh my god. No wonder he's reading.
He's getting an ego now.
I'd have to say my favorite Mario game is Mario Bros. 3.
Damn
That's a
straight
good
it
choice.
is.
That was a good choice.
Also, I do want to mention that because of our show and because of our podcast, I do want to say, this isn't to give ourselves a pat on the back. I think
will
this is a
pat
really good
myself on the
story. I've noticed Zach's a friend of mine on Facebook, and he's been posting a lot about, being able to enjoy video games again. And a lot of it came from us talking. He's the one who originally mentioned adaptive controllers to me. And we presented it on the show, and he used that resource to get himself an adaptive controller. So he's able to enjoy video games again.
That's awesome.
And he's been, posting a lot of things about the video games, and
you can be an advocate for using those.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. I forgot the website, but I could actually next week I'll bring back up the website and say it again. In case there's anybody else, if you know anybody who's disabled, there's a controller out there for you because there's a ton of them. He also mentioned that I guess one episode I revealed something about a voice actor returning for Spider-Man, and then in the next episode, but then I said I wouldn't spoil it, but then in the next episode I spoiled something about the game. I think what happened was I was happy about a voice actor returning to the movie, the Spider-Man 2 movie, which that I didn't spoil. But then on the next episode, I was still playing Spider-Man, and I asked you guys, was it okay if I spoil it? Because it was like a year old at that point. So I do want to say that I don't want to go around spoiling new games if we don't have to.
Okay.
But
That's why we didn't spoil Red Dead.
or A Plague Tale.
Yeah, no, I don't want to spoil that.
Voice actor is not really
I mean-
spoiling that much.
Oh,
Unless
for
it's
the
a
movie,
specific
it was a big
character.
deal. It was a big deal.
Well, for the movie, okay.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big deal. for
Did we
me.
spoil it?
I don't remember. Unless I spoiled something else about Spider-Man.
I
I
don't
don't
think
remember.
so.
But I did ask. I do remember I asked first before I said anything about Spider-Man because it was old. Just know if we're talking about a game and you haven't played it yet, you might want to mute the podcast for that portion or use the time codes I put in the description. But thank you for pointing that out, though, Zach. I'll make sure to be more aware of that going forward just to make sure that doesn't happen because that's the last thing I would want to do. But anyways, so Zach asked about our favorite multiplayer games.
Yeah. multiplayer games are fun.
And either together or with others. We don't actually play one together. We played Apex for a little bit. That was about the only multiplayer game the three of us have played together because that's around the time I introduced the two of you to each other to begin with.
That
was
is true.
Apex. So I'm sure there will be more multiplayer games for us to
It's a
come.
nice tight 3-player game.
Would anybody like to go first? Any interesting multiplayer stories or anecdotes anybody wants to say, or do we want to just jump into our favorites?
Yeah, I guess just kind of jump in. Like I
Matt, jump in.
Yeah,
in
jump
the
in.
fish tank. Let's go.
I'm trying to remember back to my early days of playing like the first Halo, and I mean not that was the first games I was playing multiplayer, but those were the ones that really kind of brought it to that next level when you're playing multiplayer, especially when online got introduced and you could actually play like Halo 2 with your friend. You would jump on mics and go play online.
Did the first Halo have online multiplayer, or was that Halo 2?
I believe it's Halo 2.
Halo 1 had it, but it was only for the PC people that could like hack in or
Okay.
yeah, so it really wasn't meant
So
for
it was
that.
Halo 2 that put
Halo
Xbox
2,
on the map.
yes.
Okay.
That's where it started getting awesome. And there was also for PlayStation 2 there was a co-op. The Half-Life game had a completely co-op version of Half-Life 2, or sorry, the first game called Half-Life Decay. So the game had the normal Half-Life game, but then you could play as two female scientists that were doing all these things at the same time, like concurrently with the main character.
Didn't we try that at one point?
Yeah, and we might have. I don't remember.
We did.
Yeah,
because I remember
was
you
probably
mentioned
talking
it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. It was on the PS2, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of fun with that game, and just really any game where you're kind of forced to communicate a lot. Like I really enjoyed playing Portal 2. Was a really fun one. I've actually been playing a more recent one is Divinity with a friend online.
Original Sin, right?
Yeah, the first
Second,
because I wanted
the first
to play,
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to play the first one and then play the second one, but it's just a blast to kind of play these games that you would be playing normally. You would play alone, but just actually have someone to strategize with and kind of debate what your next move is. And I feel like especially with online, and then even more than that, playing with mics is kind of a world of difference of playing just kind of silently with these no-name people.
Mike's Hard Lemonade? I play with Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Microphones.
A heavy sigh comes over the crowd.
Well, that's
But even
just,
like- even
that's
when you're-
mass reaction to everything I do for the
That's
most
true.
part.
Even
It's
when you're playing
disappointing.
Apex, you can help. You can make callouts. You can. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it's just such a different game when there's just no one. Even with Apex, with the kind of like callouts that they built into the game that make it easier, you still can't really strategize, and it's a lot harder to say, "Hey, I want to go here and do this," or like you have to. It's a little bit slower to just saying, "Hey, there's a guy right there, right behind you on your left," or whatever. So yeah.
So, and you're the type of person who prefers co-op to straight PvP.
Yeah, I
Like-
don't like PvP because it's a lot of those games. It's like fast twitch, like first-person shooters, which it's fun, but after a point, it just gets frustrating if you get killed and killed. You kind of have to play a game for a lot of time to really learn it, to master
Yeah.
it, to be as good as other human players, especially if they have more time on their hands or if they're just flat out more skilled than you or have better. They're younger, maybe they have more twitch reflexes than you do.
Yeah, humans suck.
Yeah, but I like to go and roll down, like completely destroy guys. So I want to feel like a superhuman. So
Which we do in Apex
Yeah.
often.
well, sometimes, but I
Like,
mean, it's a
every
lot
match,
easier to do
we're
when you're playing
rolling
against
people down.
computers,
That's
like in
not
Divinity
true. We
or-
die a lot.
or when you're yelling at your friend to like move a block over here when you're playing Portal.
Yeah, I did play. I'm pretty sure I played Portal 2 through co-op once with a friend. And it was pretty fun. Dan, what about you?
I would have to say that kind of reiterating what Matt said about like the golden age of like Halo 2 was one of like the coolest things. It was like, hey, this is new. You can play with each other, and that was when it really started working really well. But my ultimate experience would have to be that Modern Warfare 2. That was like the pinnacle of everyone was playing that game. It was like the multiplayer game, and I remember being really good at it at one point. And it was a lot of fun. It felt competitive. And like I said, the other big thing, and one reason I have trouble playing a lot of the multiplayer games now is, especially the battle royale, is it's just I feel like I'm wasting so much time. Like I remember playing Battlefield 4, the multiplayer, and I remember I'd come home from work and I would play like one or two matches that last like 40 minutes with 35 minutes. You play 2 or 3 matches, you're like, holy crap, it's already 7 or 8
Was that the one
o'clock.
you and I were both playing together? Or was that Hardline?
No, we didn't play Hardline, so it must have been 4.
Okay.
It's a fun game, but I just feel like there's so much like there's
It's
so
only
much
wasting
dead time
if you're not having fun.
No, but I feel like there was a lot of dead time in a lot of these big games, especially.
Oh, well, Battlefield had the big maps.
Well,
with
they
the
have the
vehicles and
huge
stuff
maps,
like
and you
that.
spawn. Especially if your team was terrible, you spawn all the way back at the front, and you're look, all the vehicles are gone, so I got to
Yeah, it's
run my
depressing.
ass all the way over there. Oh, I just got blown up. Oh, that's great. So I just felt like a lot of it is just your time is wasted. Like for the number of moments that you're actually in a gun battle or you're right up against people, it's fun. But from moment to moment time with the multiplayer is kind of like ugh. That's why I quickly got out of Apex, because I never can stay in a multiplayer game that long, especially Battle Royale, where I just feel like I'm wasting so much time in the lobby, flying down to the thing, and then finding a weapon, and then finding a weapon, and then look, somebody finds it before me, and they kill me because of bullshit. So you know what? Fuck this game. I'm out. So I deleted Fortnite.
Whoa, language.
Did you just call Apex Fortnite?
No, I'm just saying Fortnite was one of those games. Apex has done a fantastic job, and they need to be commended, and they need to be people need to consult them when it comes to making a game like that, like a Battle Royale. Unfortunately, Battle Royale, as I'm realizing,
Fortnite did that. They just stole everything. Like the self-resurrection and all that stuff.
Well, that's because Fortnite's terrible, and
the pinging system
needs to go away very quick.
I mean, not to mention their whole inception was stolen from PUBG to begin with, even though...
exactly. But I just realized no matter what, I don't think Battle Royale is for me. I just feel like there's too much time wasted for me to enjoy it. That's why I'm very excited for this Modern Warfare. I feel like you die, whatever... You come back immediately, and you're back in the game. You can change your you know what? That guy killed me because I wasn't paying attention.
One more.
So
I'm giving them one more chance.
So anyway, I'm very, very excited for. I don't have any multiplayer games.
Well, I'm not only excited for it coming out because it looks like they're fixing a lot of the issues I have with it. I'm excited because I know a good friend of mine is also buying it, and I'll have someone to play with.
Yes, and those games.
There's a reason I'm game flying it to begin with because I bought World War II brand new. I bought Black Ops 3 wasn't a disappointment, but World War II was. So I don't want to go down that road again.
Well, if you play I know this guy over here, I'm pointing at Matt, I know is going to burn through Borderlands 3 before we even get close to him. I will play Borderlands 3.
Burnerlands 3.
I mean, if you want to make a separate account to play with us so you can, be on our level, where we're slower than you. But if you want to fly through, beat the game, come back, and play it with us, and we'll do maybe we can do a weekly podcast at that point, playing Borderlands 3 when it's the hot game of the week.
I'll just make a second character.
But so that's a game. Co-op when you're playing with someone like a Borderlands is fantastic as well.
Now, do either of you feel any different between playing co-op over live as opposed to just co-op next to each other? Like, do you have a preference, or is it all just playing multiplayer?
Co-op next to what do you mean?
Couch co-op versus online co-op.
I mean, it depends on the game. If it's something...
Do you have a preference, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, playing the multiplayer, like, where you're on separate televisions and everything, I feel like you can focus more. I mean, if you're playing something like, Mario Kart or whatever, having someone right next to you, it's more fun for that type of game. But if you're playing something like, a Call of Duty or a Halo, I think it's more fun to have, the whole screen to yourself and, put the headphones on and be kind of more tactical.
It's also a lot more of a competitive...
Yeah, that's true. So, like I said, it really depends on the game. If it's a super serious game, I think that's something I'd want to have the whole screen and be a little greedy.
I'd much rather play like a game like Overcooked with someone like right next to me.
Overcooked.
And if I'm playing Apex, I would want the full screen, like the mic.
I feel like Overcooked causes more fights than Mario Party.
Really?
Well, that's just because of one of our friends, specifically.
I don't think you should name them for health reasons.
I went down kind of a deep rabbit hole with this question a lot more. Like, I thought this was going to be pretty easy. Like, what are like a couple of my favorite multiplayer games? And then, just write them down. I'll write what I like about them. I went on like a deep philosophical discussion with myself about multiplayer game. I did. I really did. Not only about myself. I guess I had trouble defining a multiplayer game, which it's very easy to define. It's a game you're playing with others, either over the internet or on the couch.
Yep.
But here's the thing. So the first thing that came to my mind was Halo 3. That was
fantastic.
Unfortunately, I didn't have an original Xbox when Halo 2. Well, I think I eventually got one, but I didn't have Xbox Live at the time. When I bought Xbox 360, I bought Halo 3 with it, and I just played that game nonstop for like 8 months. It was the only game I played. I love every minute of it. But here's the thing. While I am playing against other people and shooting other people, and technically I am on a squad with 4 people, it was, for the most part, a single-player experience even when online, because I was really just going in and trying to do my best for me. Yeah, the team score matters. That's how you win. but like I wasn't always with the team or trying to work with the team, and I didn't always have a mic on or anything like that. Not back in those days, anyways. It was mostly just me kind of going around the map and trying to shoot people. So even though it was a multiplayer game I was playing, it felt like a single player experience. So then, like, I went down this whole thing, like, does that even count? And like, what defines it?
The
to
best
me?
games are definitely the ones that force you to communicate a lot. I feel like for
Yeah.
multiplayer games, like if you're not really if you don't need to talk to them, or if you're not really communicating at all.
I was gonna say like Dark Souls wouldn't be considered like a multiplayer. There is a multiplayer like aspect to it, but I wouldn't consider that like there's
No.
input from other players. Well,
Yeah.
actually, people can hop into your game, but
That's a little different, though.
yeah, it's a weird kind
That's
of
like a gray area thing.
yeah.
Apex is a lot different because you're on a 3-man squad and you're against like 20 others or 19 other 3-man squads. So you need to be like tight knit and communicate. With Halo, there just wasn't as big of a pushback then, I didn't feel. So then I started really thinking about it. And I remembered a couple of games that I felt like really more pushed the whole multiplayer aspect and working with people and what my favorites were. And one of them came to my mind instantly, and the other one I was like looking up different games, and like it just like dawned on me, oh my god, I forgot about this game. One was Left 4 Dead 2, which you don't have to play multiplayer on that, but playing co-op with that game, you could do 4-screen co-op with that game. It is so much fun. Dan and I tried playing it recently. Could use for maybe like a remaster or something like that.
It moves
but
so fast. I just be overwhelmed with that game. Like there's so many zombies, and they move in such a like super fast.
the first one was worse too.
Oh my god!
The
I know. I
first
couldn't
one
even play the first one.
The first one I couldn't play, so when people wanted me to play the second, I was very against it. But then some of my best video game memories are playing Left 4 Dead 2 with like co-op with my friends on the same TV because it was just so much fun. We had all these inside jokes for the characters.
Man, you'd be like
And-
3 witches over there.
And like Rochelle, every time Rochelle would be picked, we would sing Roxanne for some reason. Like the song Roxanne. Yeah,
That
I don't know
makes
why.
sense.
Like
Why are you?
I don't know. It was just like one of the things we did. But the other one that came to my mind that I had completely forgotten about was Castle Crashers. Castle Crashers.
That was a big at the beginning of the Xbox Live push.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it came out. It was like a couple years into the 360.
I thought it was like a launch title or close to
For the
it.
360?
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that.
Well, they made. Oh, you might be thinking of the Aliens one that they made. They made a
Alien
few different
Hominid?
games, yeah. But it was made by the guys who made that game. They were from Newgrounds originally, and it was like a flash-based couch co-op. I still have it on my 360, and basically you have these 4 knights, and you can power up either your attack or your defense or your magic. You find little animal friends along the way to help you, and it was just a really kooky game, like something you'd see in Rick and Morty, where it would have like a lot of like weird like fart humor almost at times, and that again on the 360 as a couch co-op game was just one of the most fun I've ever had with a multiplayer game. But if I'm talking about the other ones, like the more PvP games, Halo 3 takes the cake for me. Like or Halo Reach, either one. Like I loved both of those games. I played them both to death. I want to go back on my 360 and look at how many hours I played each game. I remember the last time I looked at my Halo Reach playtime, it was a little obnoxious. And I platinumed. I don't think it was platinuming for Xbox, but I platinumed both the games, definitely.
100%.
Yeah, I played a lot of Halo 2, and one of the weird things is just think about all the hours I played and how there was no battle pass, there was no progression or anything. I was just playing to play the game and
Because it was fun.
have fun and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Which I try to do now, but it's still like a lot of the thing that drives me is like, oh, I want to do my dailies today so that I can get my level up, which is kind of a bummer to think about.
Yeah, and that happened in Halo Reach. They added challenges, but
Yeah.
it didn't really push me. Like I wasn't paying any money or anything like that, so it didn't really push me to try to force me to do that. But there was one rank I wanted to get to because I got a specific with Halo Reach. They had like the equipment upgrades depending on what level you got to. And
Oh, is that the samurai helmet?
no, that was Halo 3.
Ah. Okay.
With Halo Reach, I wanted the Gunganir helmet, or I think it was Gunganir. I don't know how you pronounce it. And I got the last thing I did. They had all those like weird ranks. Like I think whatever rank I had, it was like a moon or something was my rank.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The other PvP one that comes to my mind that I've fallen off in recent months, I would say. I haven't been playing it religiously lately, but I do want to start tapping out of Apex a little more and then tapping a little more back into Overwatch. Because Overwatch, I have nothing but great things to say about it. They've provided nothing but free content for like everything. They've added so many characters, so many maps, so many everything, and it was really just fatigue with me with Overwatch. The reason I fell off, but I think I'm finally at a place where I want to get back into it. But yeah, I feel like there is a distinct difference between playing online versus people and only worrying about yourself and like playing that like couch co-op mentality. Or then there's like, fighting games or Smash Melee. Smash Melee is another one where that's probably one of my favorite multiplayer games ever. It's got to be up there, like top 5.
Oh, it's a fantastic.
Played my friend Dylan and I every day for 3 summers in a row. Would just play that all day. It didn't really get.
Which one was this? The one for GameCube?
Yeah.
That's why you're so freaking.
Did you
good at
guys
that
ever
one.
get into because this is before I knew you, World of Warcraft? Because I feel like that was another cool level of playing multiplayer, like building a community and like building a
what do
guild.
they call it? A guild or a clan? What do
my
they call it?
friends and I
do
were
like
in
40-man raids together and like having to strategize and think about, okay, we're gonna plan this for 8 o'clock on
before the dungeon finder.
Yeah, 8 o'clock on Thursday. We all have to go to this point on the map, and then you're all you have to go through like pre-plan every fight with these giant bosses, and then there'll be a few items that'll drop, and you'll have to decide based on seniority or whose turn it is about who gets what loot, and just like how crazy that is to play for like 5 or 6 hours just to do Molten Core or something like that in World of Warcraft.
During the Burning Crusade expansion, my friends and I went on to a probably illegal free server instead of paying for it, and
Fair.
our servers kept getting shut down. I would have gladly paid the $15 a month back then to play at least for like I think the 4 or 5 months that I was into it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had like one basement room with 5 PC towers in it, and we were all playing World of Warcraft together. Like in the
that's
same
pretty cool.
room. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good one. Dan, did you ever play it?
No, I
His wife, on the other hand,
she did play for a little bit, but I don't know. Well, first of all, you have to pay money monthly to devote yourself to one
it's kind of a
game. I
bummer.
can't do that.
Yeah, it's got because
can't.
it's got to be your main game, or you can't.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to play a couple hours a month.
Yeah, and I won't get
kind of
enough
a
out of it.
bummer.
I need to hop around. I need to play every type of game possible. So I need a horror game. I need a third-person shooter. I need,
I'm
a
just surprised you
first-person
were able to avoid it between like 2005 and 2008 when that's what
once you had to
everyone
pay
was
for
playing.
it, once you have to pay for it, immediately shut off. Same thing with like that's why Ghost Recon being online. I don't.
it's not like you really were ever like big into like having a PC anyways. Like
No, that's another thing. If they made
to
it
play it
like
on.
if they made it where you could play it by yourself offline, and they had like missions and stuff like that. Well, I also hate the combat. I'm not a big fan of the press the button and let the guy do his thing. I need immediate gratification. I need to hit the button, and that's why I was finally super excited when Final Fantasy 15 got announced that it was going to be more of a action hack and slash kind of game.
How'd that
a
work
little
out
bit
for you?
The combat was fantastic.
Well, the
it
game
was the
did
story
eventually
that sucked.
The game did come around eventually.
It's
Garnered a lot of good respect now.
Well, finally, because now you didn't have to watch a movie and play a mobile game to understand the friggin' thing, because they left out like years of like, wait, why the hell? Okay.
I'm actually halfway interested in trying Destiny 2 once it goes free to play, just to try it.
Oh, no.
I can't imagine I'm going to be that into it, but I don't know. I want to see what all the.
I'm waiting for
I'm just
Destiny.
interested to see what Bungie's going to do without Activision pulling the strings.
Oh, see, I just want Destiny 1 to become offline so I can play it by
There's
myself.
just really not much there, though.
Just the world looks pretty cool, so I'd be more interested in
That's
learning
a
more
little
about
different. Like Destiny's like a world built for a lot of people, and taking all of them out of it. Like the story for Destiny 1, I remember I played through the Destiny 1 campaign. It was just pretty garbage. Like you just go here, wave of enemies, hit a button. Go here, wave of enemies, hit a button. Like you're not missing anything.
that. Oh, all right. I don't know. The atmosphere.
I was more in for it for the PvP.
Oh no, I never really played it for just the I never saw it as just a PvP game. But
Just to bring it back around to multiplayer, I hate PvE. I can't,
no,
it's just so monotonous. I can't do it.
PvE.
Yeah,
But what do you mean? Just playing a campaign or something like Borderlands? That's PvE.
No. Campaign's a little different, like horde mode crap.
Oh, you mean like survival type things, like waves and
it's just
that's
like people would always want to do that, and I'm like, oh.
Some of them are fun. Like some of the games, like especially some of the new Gears of War, have made where you get like puzzles and or I wouldn't say puzzles, but you get waves of enemies, but you get like an electrified gate or something, so you could put the
I
electrified
never
gate
liked
up.
Gears of War to begin with.
Well,
even without the horde mode.
Well, I thought it was a neat, like, before it was just survive as long as you can. Now it's like survive as long as you can mixed with tower defense, because like you have to put the certain gates certain places so that you know that this enemy is going to get trapped here and he's going to continuously take damage from the fence or whatever. Some of those were nifty, but
Speaking of Resident Evil 5 on co-op was actually a lot of fun. It wasn't a great game or a great Resident Evil game, but it was definitely at least a fun couch co-op game to play.
it was. Well, so I'd say the same thing with 6. It was fun to play with someone else, but by yourself, the game was like, oh god.
I noticed all of the games we mentioned were pretty much just that kind of 360 generation and on. Are there any from like the 90s? Any co-op games that you really loved as a kid? Like obviously it would have to be couch co-op back then, but any that come to mind?
The only one I can think of, me and a friend used to play a Sega Genesis game called Biohazard Battle, and it's basically like a Gradius, like a side-scrolling space shooter where you had to pick, like you pick 4 different ships, and that's pretty much it. Like you would fight all these aliens, and we would play it every other week. It was a blast.
I used to grow up playing Bobble Bobble with my sister and my
That's a
brother,
good one.
and that game was ridiculously fun because
Oh, did you ever
whenever
play-
the person died, you'd be like, "Ah!" and it'd make that terrible, annoying noise when someone died in the game. And no, but that was just a lot of fun playing Bobble Bobble.
I was gonna say another good one was Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I don't know if you've.
I
Ever played
have-
that one,
I have,
where, like,
yes.
You and these 2 kids that had like you start off with squirt guns and you're trying to save all the people from the town. I'll just be kind of like standing there and you have to go and save them before they get like chainsawed or eaten by.
Jesus, I was gonna say
zombies. It was
that's a
ton of
Super
fun.
Nintendo game, right?
It might be. It was on. I know it was on Sega. That's where I played it. Sega Genesis.
Somebody, my cousin
both.
was moving and she gave me like a bunch of games, and one of them was Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. Along with Super Metroid, yay!
The only couple that come to my mind from the 90s, because for my PlayStation and the NES, most of the games I had were either if it was multiplayer, you'd just be switching back and forth, or it was mostly single player stuff. But Twisted Metal 2 and some other game that I've was going to mention and now I've completely forgotten. So I'm just going to stick with Twisted Metal 2. Twisted Metal 2, you could
That's
play,
a game
play through the campaign on co-op, and it was just really fun.
There was a campaign?
Yeah, that's the main part of the thing.
No, I didn't know that. I thought it was.
Well, okay. Here's the campaign. You're going around the world, and you're doing the same thing in each world.
You're just
the
blowing
other
people up.
cars in the
Okay.
world, and then there's bosses, and Minion as a boss was like really terrifying. And then at the end, you fight a sweet tooth that is like the size of a 3-story building, and especially with PS1 graphics, it was
Kind of daunting.
really scary.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was a little scared.
I can imagine. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention the other series that was fantastic growing up was Contra. The blue and talking about blue
Streets
and
of
red.
Rage 2 as well.
Streets of Rage, yes, was also fantastic. The beat 'em
Toe Jam and
ups.
Earl.
Never played.
Really?
Wait, what?
Is that a Sega game?
Toe Jam and Earl. Yeah, Sega Genesis.
Oh
The
yes,
first
yes,
one.
yes.
why I
Isn't it
never
like
played
one guy with a fat guy with sunglasses?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
One guy with 3 legs.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Streets of Rage 2 I would play at a friend's house, but most of the Sega Genesis
music
games.
in that game
That's
was
why I do want to get the Sega
fantastic.
Genesis Mini. That's why it's on my radar.
Yeah, I was just looking at the list now. It reminded me of the Toe Jam and Earl.
So
but,
many of those games I just didn't play.
yeah, I didn't have many of the
So-
other. Didn't have Zombie Ate My Neighbors or Biohazard Battle. Unfortunately.
Anything else you guys want to add about multiplayer game experiences? I know none of us are really like into fighting games, which
Or racers.
No.
well, yeah, I don't really know many people who are into
I'm
it.
not like Forza Horizon or
The only fighting game I do want to try out. I want to wait until it's on a super sale. I want to get Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but
You're gonna
that's
say Dragon Ball Racing. I was
I
like,
was gonna say
that's,
Dissidia maybe, but
no, and this isn't because I like it as a fighting game, but it's because they're using like from someone who's done 3D modeling and works like a lot on art stuff and is does that stuff for the podcast. What they did for the art in that game looks so fantastic. Like it looks exactly like the show, and I kind of just want to dissect it a little bit. So I'm waiting until it's like on a super sale to do that because it has nothing to do with actually wanting to play the game, and I have no one to play it with.
I was gonna say be careful because Dragon Ball Z games are another series that doesn't
check
seem
it
to
out on
drop
gameplay.
in price. Dragon Ball Z games hold their value.
I just want to try it for myself. But the other thing was Soul Calibur, specifically 2 and 4. I did play a lot of, but those are the only. Soul Calibur was really the only ever fighting game that I would play because I could just never. I was never really into fighting games. I was never really into the one-on-one. I never liked the whole like combo thing, and Smash Brothers is more of a platformer.
Yeah.
But that's as close to a fighting game, like a regularly reoccurring fighting game, as I'll get.
I would agree.
So-
I would agree.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show. I would just like to remind all of our listeners. Oh, first of all, thank you, Zach, for emailing in. We really appreciate it. We actually have a second listener email that we're going to talk about next week. So yeah, if you're interested in sending in a question, or if you have any comments, concerns, or suggestions, please send in an email at manabarpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us at manabarpodcast on Twitter. And hopefully we will have an Instagram soon,
Ooh.
depending.
Behind the scenes photos?
Sure.
Sweet.
Sure, you can see Pikachu in his underwear.
Hey, it's not that kind of Instagram.
But anyways, if you're, listening or watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And, we're still trying to grow as a podcast and as a YouTube channel. So please, share the YouTube channel or the podcast with your friends. If you really like it, tell them about it, spread the word. We're trying to gain some traction, and, we're doing everything we can to try to improve the podcast weekly. We're making little changes here or there. So, we're open to suggestions, and, we'd love to hear from you. And with that, this is the Bargain Bin Gamer, the Trophy Hunter, and the Collector logging off.